Welcome to the Sanity Project podcast, the place for internet technology professionals whose work-life balance plan has imploded. We are here to provide solutions that will help the IT pro live a sane, healthy, and prosperous life. Here's your host, Joanne Victoria.
Hi, this is Joanne Victoria, transformational life coach for internet technology professionals whose work-life balance plan has imploded and who want more fun, more confidence, more success, and more inner peace. I have created the Sanity Project podcast as a platform for experts in the self-improvement and self-development community to share their wisdom, expertise, and solutions that will help the IT pro live a sane, fun, healthy, and prosperous life. Our guest today is Pat Roque. Pat Roque, the rock star transformation coach, is a sought-after keynote speaker, success strategist, and author. She founded her company, Business Boomers, in 1988. Pat shares candidly from her, quote, rearview mirror, unquote, including how she bounced back from rock bottom to fast-track your success today. Pat's midlife meltdown gave her the new clarity on the value of true wealth, which she shares in her blog, 50 Rocks, Life Lessons for Success. Pat Roque empowers IT professionals to rock their business and their life without selling their soul or losing their minds. Pat will inspire you to rock your strength, live your best life with the 90-day success plan that helps you focus on the 5 facets of a brilliant life: family, fun, fitness, better finances, and your fabulous career. Pat also says it's important to get real with your best talents, your sweet spot, why you rock, as well as your blind spots so you stop repeating the same frustrating patterns and do more of what you love. Pat will be helping the audience today, and that's you guys listening, help identify and honor your best gifts to the world so you can thrive in your zone of genius and stop apologizing for what you lack. Welcome, Pat Roque.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I love your mission. I felt like we were kindred spirits from the minute we met.
I know, so did I, and that's why I will pay attention to anything you tell me, and I'm working on the suggestion that you gave to me at that time, and anything else you got coming through, girl, just give it to me and I'll follow through. So, well, I'm all in.
I'm
all in. And once I'm all in, you can't take me back. I'm a Taurus, so I'm loyal for life until I get screwed, then I'm done. So how can you help our listeners today, especially the IT pros? Although I'm finding I do have a lot of other people listening to the shows because the guests that I have, such as yourself, cover such a broad range of what's going on in our lives today that anybody can benefit from the information that you talk about. So how can our listeners identify and honor their best gifts to the world?
That's a fabulous question, and this is one of those moments where it was teacher heal thyself first, and then share the secret sauce once you figured it out. So to backtrack, my background is in marketing, business development, entrepreneurship. My business is going to be 30 years old in February of 2018, which sounds amazing because I feel young, and yet I've got a 30-year-old business, so you can do your own math. It was many years of helping people run faster, grow stronger, get smarter, and grow business. And I've always been interested in technology, especially embracing virtual teams. As a matter of fact, I did my master's degree on the benefits of telework for companies and for their teams. So how does empowering virtual teams help employees, their families, and their organizations? And without IT people, none of that magic can happen. IT people are the backbone of our economy in that they're the people that can help everyone else do their job better, faster. We're all smarter together. And they also provide the secret magic to enable us to communicate with people around the world and to do what I say about do once and use many, which means You can create workshops and webinars and have them repeat and have them broadcast globally, so we don't have to trade our hours for dollars in the way we used to.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, I love the IT community, and I appreciate both the hard work and the brilliance that has to go into providing. I also appreciate the fact that it's truly always been such a global community. So there's challenges with that. They also have long hours. It's around the clock. IT never sleeps, right? They don't sleep so that we can, I suppose, in some ways. And I learned when I had my meltdown at age 50, which was 3 years ago, that one of the things people deserve more than anything else was to stop struggling so much with the things that they're not, stop apologizing for what you're not, and learn to actually figure out where you shine, where you rock, and what are your sweet spots? What are the things you do best? And if we can leverage the power of technology to learn that information, and we can become better at communicating where we're strong and where our innate talents lie, together, first of all, we can have more fun. We can work in our zone of genius, and we can become better collaborators because we will have a chance to understand our strengths and how we can best contribute to an organization, and also where we're smarter to depend on others and let them shine on those facets of our collaborative effort.
Yeah, I find that happens in the virtual teams when you have executives, legal, product managers, program managers, and then you have the people who create the code, and they're like in their own little world, and then everybody else has their own specific job description, quote unquote. But somebody's always trying to do the other dude's job for them. Not that they want their job done by anybody else, but somebody's always stepping in, trying to one up on these virtual calls. You know, you've got up to hundreds of people on the line at the time, sometimes 10, sometimes 50, sometimes 100. And you don't have the time to defend your position on, I know what I am doing, when somebody else says, well, yeah, I know how to do your job better than you do. And that becomes a bit of a challenge for the host of the call and other participants who are trying to get a job done. And I think that part of what you're saying, or what you're saying totally, is that you should know where your expertise is, and then kind of butt out of everybody else's business. Or is that a little too abrupt?
No, that's great, and I'll give you an example. When it comes to collaboration, there's two pieces of the story. One of them is when we're collaborating with a group, I always tell people to pretend we have an imaginary dollar bill. And if you feel strongly about a topic or an issue, fall on the sword, put your dollar on the table, win that argument, and move on. But if there's something that you're more neutral about, or you don't feel strongly, or it's not your sweet spot, you can contribute a quarter and just pitch in, but you can't try to win every argument. You aren't going to be the best at every piece of every facet of every project.
Mm-hmm.
Just to think about it in a more conscientious and considerate way. Let other people win if something is a passion point for them. They know best, and they're willing to throw that imaginary dollar down and own that. And it's solved a lot of problems. It's gotten through a lot of collaborative meetings and decision making a lot faster. That's not necessarily the strength part of this conversation, but it's definitely been a lifesaver in terms of collaborating with IT folks and other folks in organizations.
Sure.
I speak at a global IT conference annually, and I listen to the challenges and opportunities that my comrades face. And part of it is that everyone has now become a brand ambassador for the organization. We kind of all need to be a little bit better at voicing where we're strong and being able to let the project managers and organizers know how to help us fit in best with what's going on, because the technology itself is going to change.
daily.
So, right?
Right,
So we're
absolutely.
working on technology next year and 5 years from now that does not have a name right now. It doesn't even exist in our vocabulary. So how do we lead with strength? I learned from, and again, I know you asked about a life lesson, but I learned through Gallup organization that 87% of workers, 9 out of 10, are disengaged. They show up visibly or online, but mentally they've got one foot out the door. Isn't that sad?
It's not only sad, it's true. And then they get to the point where since sometimes they can't get out the door because they're too tired. It's not because their desire is gone, but they have been so drained by the amount of energy that they have to devote to their present position, their present job, and the people around them that they just give up. And that's the saddest part, when they give up.
And they're frustrated.
Very.
And distracted. And so they're not putting forth their best work. They're not happy with what they do. They become toxic to themselves and to their family. So when they go home, they're not having as much joy as they deserve there either. And it's a perpetual hamster wheel.
Absolutely.
No one's having fun on that wheel. And the productivity suffers. And the organization suffers. And it's so much more expensive to hire new employees than it is to maintain those you have.
Well, and as the technology is moving so quickly and changing so rapidly, there is very little major oversight on any of the projects that these large communication companies are involved in. So they are just given a new job to do almost on a daily basis, probably realistically a month. Somebody will say, we're doing this, we're buying that company, you have to change it, you have 2 weeks to get me a pro forma. And they're going, but I'm just finishing the one you gave me 2 weeks ago. Doesn't matter, get it done. And then you're just thrown into this pit. And if people don't recognize what their master skills are, how they can use their calm temperament to approach and attack the job, they're just getting more and more disillusioned as time goes by.
Yes, and it's a self-perpetuating prophecy. It's sad. So one of the things that I learned is that we have gifts and we don't always appreciate them. And that my best friend went in the snow, dug up 50 rocks, painted them gold, and wrote 50 things that are special about me. And as I was climbing out of my own kind of rabbit hole meltdown, I started blogging on LinkedIn, one rock at a time, and called it 50 Rocks Life Lessons for Success. And I learned things about myself through her reflection. Things like being generous makes you feel good, doesn't it? You're happy when you're helping other people. But if you're not someone who's also not just a generous giver, but an excellent receiver, then you deprive others of the joy of helping you too. So one little rock that says generous put a whole different spin on collaboration, because people hesitate to ask for help. They don't want to appear weak. And yet, if you don't ask for help, you deprive others of the joy of helping you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. People want to help. They want to give their support, and they should be allowed to. But people sometimes, their fear of everything gets in the way. They're good to give, but they're not good to receive.
Right. So I always have my group say out loud, I am a generous giver and an excellent receiver. It's an important affirmation. The other piece that we talk a lot about, one of the rocks said support. You just used that word. And I help people with not waiting to be asked to contribute, but to be a bit more proactive. So insert yourself into situations. And I use the example of Wayne Gretzky, the hockey player, was so successful in his career, and it's not because he would skate and be where the puck is. It's because he was always willing to be supportive and anticipate where the puck will be. He skated to where the puck will be. and taught others how to anticipate, so that his version of support was always keeping one step ahead. Because if you spend your life in IT, it's so important. We can't always afford to be reactive. We need to be more proactive in our approach.
Yeah, being reactive sets other people up, and it's a personal thing. When you're reactive to something, it's about your own issues, not what's really going on. So either you want to be right, or you want to be right, or you want to be right. So, or make the other person wrong, which is the same thing. But being reactive to situations and problems and oncoming catastrophes doesn't solve anything. It just wastes a lot of time.
Exactly.
Take a deep breath.
Mm-hmm. The other piece around that is with mentoring. Babies have iPads. You ever see that little vignette where the little baby is sitting there and baby's on the iPad, and then the mom hands the baby a magazine, a printed magazine, and the baby's trying to use the fingers to flick it and open the page. They're not real sure how to.
What is this? Yeah, what is this, Mom?
Yeah, exactly. So, our younger generation is so much more fluent in technology than ever. So when we talk about nurturing other people, especially in the IT world, being a mentor or a mentee is not that linear older people mentoring younger people, as in days gone by and in decades gone by. We bring so much to the table that we should step up and engage in those kinds of relationships, because we all have gifts to share as the mentor as well as the mentee. It's got to be a two-way street. We learn from one another.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about embracing active mentorship. Almost, I call it a sponsorship. So it's one thing to help someone by giving them a piece of advice, and it's a much more active role when you physically get involved if you want to help someone with their career and networking. Don't just say, oh, go look up this person. How about inviting the two people that deserve to meet to lunch together or coffee together if you can, or to get them both on a call and do a virtual introduction together. Take a more active role in helping connect other people who deserve to know each other.
Yeah, it has to be more personal. It's that the personal is gone by the wayside, which I don't like myself, but I agree with at least introducing them via email together. Everybody, get on a call. The three of you, four of you, how many there are, but somebody's got to make a personal, take a step forward and not just, call Pat Roque. Well, no, if you really care about the person you're giving the reference to, you want to introduce them. You want to see if there's any sort of a fit, although I wouldn't refer you to anybody that didn't think you already had a fit with myself, but not everybody thinks like that. But I think that you need to have a personal introduction to people as much as possible, even in this technological society that we live in.
True. And then to take it all a step further and wrap a bow around it, what I learned about rocking your strength is that many people guess wrong about what their strengths are. They often turn to tactics when they talk about their strengths. I'm great at, I'll just say Microsoft Word. I know that's a very basic technology tool, but I'm very good at this tactic. But what I believe really helps set people apart is when they understand how to embrace their strength from an innate, what are the things you do best, the things you do like breathing? What are the gifts you bring to the table that are not job specific or company specific, but they are your birthright? Your strengths are predetermined as part of your genetic makeup before birth. And then it's your job to manifest and put them into action. So to give you an example, I took this 30-minute strength assessment. It's an online test. And it came back so spot on that it gave me the chills. I had actually felt like somebody might have been looking over my shoulder while I was taking the assessment, because I couldn't believe how strongly and closely it resonated. So to give you an example, I'm an activator, which means I get things done. I'm strategic, which means I automatically see how things fit together. a maximizer because I help people bring out the best in themselves. I'm not real big on having to beg people to want to be better. I attract people who know that they're great and want to really shine in their own light. Individualization is about when you're doing training and coaching, not just lumping people together. It's never about what you have to sell. It's about what people need and how to make it work for them. And then finally, positivity, which means my glass is not just half full, but I'm grateful for the glass every day. So those 5 strengths in that order come in very handy because they're unique to me, almost the way your thumbprint is. 16 million people took this assessment, and so few ever have the same 5 top strengths in that order. So what would happen in a team environment is it would help a leader, if those were your strengths, it would help you understand that you really need to surround yourself with strong implementers. I need people who are connectors. I need people who are action takers, who are actually the ones who will break it down into the small steps to do the delegation, to have responsibility as one of their top skills and strengths. Because my client, who, I'll give you an example, was 18 years in a tech company. And she was part of a project management team, but she was not the big idea person. She was the one that would receive the information and then be the project manager, implementing other people's big ideas. I'm sure many people on the call can probably relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
But for 18 years, she felt bad about herself every time she left the meeting because she felt guilty that she was not coming up with the big idea. And when we did her strength assessment and it talked about her skill as a relationship builder and a connector, and that she loved learning, and that she was very good at delegating, and she was very focused, and she was very good at responsibility and accountability. Those are more implementer-oriented strengths. And I told her I would pay my right and left arm to have 10 of her in my group. A group doesn't necessarily need 10 of me, but we absolutely would thrive with 10 of her, if you know what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying, yes.
Putting people in a sense of confidence and ownership around their gifts. And those skills I just mentioned are hers. They're inbred. They're how she rolls. It's the things she does, like breathing, the things she does that she doesn't have to think about. It's the reason people value her. And she was just forgetting to value herself. So part of rocking your strengths is shining in your light, getting really, really clear in your zone of genius, and learning how to communicate that to others, and learning how to help understand and bring that out in your team partners as well, so that everybody has a better sense of communicating and vocalizing where they can contribute well. Because if that's the case, like, I'm not the most IT-oriented person. I'll be completely honest. That's why I love IT people. I love tech geniuses because I am not one of them. Right?
I understand. I like detail people because I'm not one of them either.
Right. I'm intrigued by it. I value it, and I dabble in it enough to be dangerous. But if I spend too much time trying to be the implementer, I end up slowing myself down, making mistakes. I get creating a landing page. I'll have it 90% done, and there's always something missing because it's not my sweet spot. I'm much better to delegate it and get out of my own way and let somebody who's actually really good at that follow through, create the flow, check all the boxes, troubleshoot it, SEO optimize, all the things that need to happen to make.
Right. I understand totally. I'm in alignment with that. I have the idea, but I know now my learning curves can be too high for certain things, like creating a landing page. No, there's no way in hell I'm going to attempt one again because I tried that already, and that's not where my highest and best use of my skills are.
Right. So at the end of the day, if we can help people rock their strength, and the other part of it is the first half is getting really crystal clear on your zone of genius so that you can contribute to your team. And the second half of it is, how do I put it to use in my daily life, at home and at work? So I wrote these 2 books, and the one is called Rock on Success 90-Day Fast Action Planner, because I needed my own way to get focused and organized and how to set goals and achieve them. starting with 90 days out, working with the end in mind, reverse engineering, so to speak. I'm sure IT people understand that, project management people understand it, but taking our goals and starting backwards, what does success look and feel like 90 days from now? And then how do I look at it in monthly chunks and then weekly chunks? And then how do I assign daily priorities? And I recommend people assign just 2 major priorities a day, with the secondary don't forget to, bucket list, of course. But I try to help people not thrive in overwhelm or drown in overwhelm, excuse me, and rather thrive in staying focused, celebrating the stepping stones or the little wins, not just the milestones, which are the bigger accomplishments along the way.
Sounds clear to me and doable.
It is, but it took a lot of figuring out, trial and error, and learning the hard way and frustrating myself. So this book is dedicated to, it's a 90-day fast action plan, and it's called Focus and Freedom to Live Your Best Life Without Selling Your Soul or Losing Your Mind. And again, that's where I thought you and I resonated, and I understand that our friends in IT really deserve that blessing for themselves in their life, because they bring so much to the world.
Yeah, I don't think non-IT people understand the entire concept of what these people do, hundreds of thousands of them all over the world, more than that actually, but what they do every day to keep you, me, the rest of the universe able to buy something on the internet, to even use the internet, to be able to communicate on the internet. As you said at the beginning of this call, they create the opportunities for us to survive and then thrive. So I just think that they need the attention, and that's what came to me a while ago. I've changed. I still do the same work, but I'm just doing it with a different audience, because I think this audience needs attention. They need to be safe and healthy and happy and prosperous and have enough energy to have some fun in their lives.
Absolutely.
So you were talking about, and I think we will have this for the listeners when this is all published and everything, a free gift. So why don't you tell us a bit about that so that people can get it?
I will. Thank you so much. I am making available, my gift to your audience is I will provide a digital copy of the Rock on Success 90-day fast action planner, so that they can have a tool that they can use privately to create a roadmap for success. So it has worksheets in it so that you're able to sit and reflect and get yourself grounded and clear on the things that matter most to you, and then to create a ritual and a path that makes sense moving forward, so that they can accomplish and feel proud and have that swagger around who they are and what they do, and to be able to accomplish their goals in a way that will give them focus and freedom, again, get them out of overwhelm, and give them the time management. Things like Tony Robbins says, chunk your time. How do you break it out into 15-minute chunks? Taking a stretch after 50 minutes and making sure for 10 minutes you get up and walk away. Stretch your arms, stretch your legs, take your eyes off the computer screen. It's the little things that are about self-love, self-care, and finding work-life integration. I don't call it balance, because a seesaw or teeter-totter is only actually level for a brief blip of a second, on its way up and down. It's really about work-life integration. So I will provide, if you go to rockonsuccess.com/sanity, again, rockonsuccess.com/SANIT, I will have that download available, and a nice discount code if anybody's interested in getting involved in any of our programs. So that's my gift, and a thank you to you and to your audience for taking time to live their best life without selling their soul or losing their mind.
That's wonderful. I'm going to give out, it's Pat Roque, pronounced Roque, spelled Roque. Her best email address is pat@rockonsuccess.com. You can find her on LinkedIn at Pat Roque, Patroque, and at several pages on Facebook.com. Pat Roque Rocks, Business Boomers, and in groups, if people like groups, the free Facebook group, which is Rock On Success. Do your searches because they have a search engine right on Facebook for you, so you don't need everything from me right now, but also go on Twitter. She's got great posts, and her Twitter name is twitter.com/rockонsuccess. Now, I want all of you listeners to go to iTunes and give Pat Roque a splendid multi-word review. You're going to have to write a few words and take your time to do that because I think Pat deserves a good review. And while you're there, you can give 5 stars to the Sanity IT Project podcast itself. And before I forget, you can go to my website at askjoannevictoria.com and get a free copy of the True Self Handbook, a guide to transform your life. And I want to thank you again, Pat Roque, for being here today. You have a busy schedule, and we don't want to keep you from your next event. And I'm so glad you were here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate your audience, and I'm happy that we can help them find focus and freedom. They deserve it. God bless them all.
Yes, God bless them all is correct. Thanks, guys, for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Sanity Project podcast. Please go to askjoannevictoria.com and continue the conversation on her podcast page. And get a free copy of her book, The True Self Handbook, a guide to transform your life. That's askjoannevictoria.com. Take care, and thanks for being here.